Liam Rosenior has revolutionized Chelsea, and in today's video, we are going to dive into tactics and why this works and why it didn't work for Enzo Maresca. On top of that, we're going to look at the players that have benefited with the new manager and why Chelsea are back. Now, looking at the tactics, it almost looks like a 4-3-3, but that is not what happens when Chelsea have the ball. It actually morphs into a 2-2-6, and this is where it gets very interesting to say the least, because when Chelsea have the ball, this makes it difficult for teams to defend because, as you can see, there are so many different options across that front line, and because of this, these players can make multiple runs. They can run into the box, they can drop back, they can move across, they can go in all different directions, which makes it very difficult for any defensive team to understand where players are going to be. Now, most teams play a back four and have another line right here with two guys pushing up onto the CDMs or the defensive players here. Because of this, Chelsea can now utilize these extra players and overload certain areas. So if they want to move everyone off to the right, they can do that. They want to move everyone to the left, they can do that. They can also hold everyone right in the middle, which can prevent the other team from attacking. All these different options makes it very, very difficult for teams to defend against Chelsea. And because of this, this allows certain players to be very free roaming. Enzo Fernandez is one of those players because what he's able to do when Chelsea are moving forward, they can move the ball in any direction. But what can happen then is as they all push up and create chances, there is multiple areas of space for Enzo to run into. He's so good at finding these pockets of space, and then what he's able to do anytime the ball is played across, he can smash it into the back of the net. This is what we saw against West Ham. He was a late runner into the box. It almost reminds me of Frank Lampard because having a guy that can run deep into the box after the ball's been laid off is very hard for teams to know exactly where to be, to position themselves, but it also catches the goalkeeper off guard because he doesn't know where that ball is going to be hit. And like I said, Enzo Fernandez has the entire space to find out where he wants to hit the ball, whether he wants to go near post, far post, or right down the middle if he wants to smack it right past the goalkeeper. He has those options. Now, one of the reasons why people are wondering why this is now working for Chelsea and why it didn't work for Enzo Maresca is very clear here, because what we have been seeing here is how many players we are getting into the box. This is a big key part for Liam Rosenior and why it has been working for him and why he's won 5 games in a row now, because with all these players in the box, it allows Chelsea to work the ball to where they want to, and they're actually utilizing the possession. Whereas Enzo Maresca, what was happening is that we had possession, but we were never getting the ball inside the 18. We would cycle the ball around and work it back and forth until we found the perfect pass. With Liam Rosenior, that is not the case. He is constantly trying to push the ball up as fast as he possibly can and get the ball into the 18 and try to find our strikers or our attacking players. Even if we lose possession, he knows that we can recycle the ball and win it back and do the same thing once again, over repeating this. And this is what makes him such a good manager. On top of that, he also understands if he needs to make any changes, if there's been any issues going on. He understands he can bring different players on to rotate with players if he needs to. Now, again, this is something that I do think doesn't get enough credit for where it should, because in the last handful of matches, we've seen him make multiple changes at half, and those changes have made massive impact on how Chelsea actually perform. You're looking at the Napoli game, you're looking at the West Ham game. Those matches, they came back and won due to substitutions from Liam Rosenior. Now, one of the big things that we do need to look at, though, is one of the issues with these tactics. Now, you can clearly see this does leave plenty of space, though, for teams to hit Chelsea on the counterattack. This is where the defenders definitely have to step up. This is where, again, Caicedo, Reece James, Chalobah, Fofana, and even Sancho have to be at their top performance, because they have to understand where players are going to be running into, because if a ball is played over the top, we need to see Sanchez step up and win that ball back. If, again, they're playing the ball out to the side, Chalobah and Fofana have to be able to cover those areas, but also Caicedo and Reece James need to drop back into the middle to help out Sanchez. All these players understand where they need to be, because if they can keep constantly doing that, they win the ball back. And like I said earlier, Chelsea then can recycle the ball back and start attacking once again. Yes, there are some flaws to this system, but overall, being very attack-minded with the players that Chelsea currently have makes more sense, and teams just don't understand how to defend against this. On top of that, we can also rely on multiple players playing the balls through channels, again, passing the ball in these triangle passes, and therefore, again, finding different ways to break down the defense. And as we constantly do this, this makes the defensive very tired. And overall, once we make those substitutions like we just talked about earlier, those new fresh legs can run onto tired legs and again find pockets of space to find our attacking players to find the back of the net. Overall, Liam Rosenior has definitely taken Chelsea to a whole nother level, and yes, this could be the time that Chelsea start improving each and every week and start making a race for the top four and possibly next year be in the title race. Now, it obviously is early to say all that, but what we've been seeing as of lately just means and shows that Chelsea have high limits with Liam Rosenior. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video.